Hey, what's going on everyone? Today I'm going to be showing you how you can wire up one of these LCDs with the Arduino easily. And we'll start out simple, we'll print some text, and then we'll move on to more complex things like making menus. And so we'll go ahead and get right to it. Okay, this is what I'll be showing you how to build today. It's basically an LED button state with a relay added and an LCD. And the LCD just tells you what's going on. So right now everything's off. And so if I press the button once, red LED turns on, it says red LED is on. Press it again, green LED is on, press it again, the relay is on, press it again, turns everything on, and one more time, turns everything off, and if we do it again, it just goes over it again. And so there's basically two parts on this tutorial. The first part will just show you how to basically print like a hello world on the LCD, and then we'll go through how to add the buttons and the LEDs and the relay. So we'll go ahead and look at the pinout for this LCD. Okay, here's the pinout for the LCD, and hopefully I don't confuse you with this, but I'm just referring to these pins as one left, two left, since this is the first from the left, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. There's four of them in the middle we won't use, so just ignore those, and then from the right here. And then I'm going to be using these pins, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and we'll have to pass it to the Arduino software, which is right here. And so we'll go back in here. Okay, so basically this states what pin needs what. So the first from left needs ground, then VCC, that goes to the middle of the potentiometer, then that one goes to Arduino, so on and so forth. And so on this one, this pin 7 goes 4 left, so it'll hook to this pin. Pin 8 is 6 left, so it'll hook to this pin, and so on and so forth. So if you wanted to change your pins, I'll just give you an example here. Okay, so instead of using 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, if you wanted to use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pin 2 on the Arduino would have to hook to the 4th from left, which is right here. Pin 3 would have to hook 6 left, which is right here, so on and so forth. So whichever pin configuration you choose, it doesn't matter as long as you get them in there right. But we're just going to use 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'll just go ahead and show you the schematic that I've drawn out for this, just to give you a better idea of how to wire this. Okay, so here's the schematic I drew for this. The very far left pin, 1 left, it connects to ground. The second from the left connects to 5 volts from the Arduino. The third from the left hooks to the middle of the potentiometer. This is a 10K potentiometer. This is so you can adjust the contrast. And the left side, it doesn't actually matter which side you hook to VCC or ground, but one side has to be hooked to 5 volts, and then the other side goes to ground. And then you adjust the contrast. And then the 4th from left, in our case, will go to pin 7, 5th from left, ground, 6th from left, pin 8, and then 6th from right, pin 9, 5th from right, pin 10, 4th from right, pin 11, 3rd from right, pin 12, and then 2nd from right, another 5 volts, and then the very far right, 1 right, gets ground. And this is what it should look like when you're done or something close to it. This is just the basic wiring of the LCD. We have the power rails jumper just so we can ground the other stuff when we add it. And then we have power ran from the Arduino to the power rails. And then you can see our 10K potentiometer for the contrast adjust. And we'll go ahead and just power it on, make sure the LCD's getting some power, make sure everything's kind of hooked up right. It won't display anything right now because we don't have it programmed, but we'll go ahead and get into the program and get it to print something. Alright, we finally made it to the code, and as you can tell, it's a simple program, nothing complex about it at all. And the first thing you'll need to do is include the liquidcrystal.h library. If you don't, it will throw an error. And then the LCD object, here's where you pass the pins we were talking about earlier. Then we have our setup, and the first thing you need to do is LCD begin. This initializes the LCD and tells it that it's a 16 column 2 row LCD. And then it's always good practice to clear it first before you print, and then set cursor to 0, 0. This will set the cursor to the top left, and then LCD print Hello Kitty, and we will see what happens. We'll go ahead and write it to the board, and as you can see, it printed it just fine, and it's up on the top very left. And so we'll come back into the code, and I will change this to kind of show you how this works. So if it's 0, 1, it'll go to the bottom row. And as you can see, it went to the bottom row. And then, let's see, we'll change back to the top row. and I'll do 3, so it's going to move it to the right 3. And then we could move it to the right 6, and it'll probably go off the screen. Yeah, it'll go off the screen. Okay, and that's the basic way you can print things on the LCD on different rows and columns or whatever. And so we'll get into the next part, and we will add the LEDs and the relay and the button. I almost forgot to show you, but if you run into this problem where you're not getting any text on the screen, it's probably your potentiometer, and you just need to adjust it either one way or the other. And so I'm going to turn mine right, and as you can see, the contrast is changing, and then now you can see the text. Make sure you turn up a little bit bright, because otherwise the LCD, it'll be a little bit glitchy. But we'll go ahead and get to the setup of the next one. Okay, this is how I have this set up. I've added the red LED, the green LED, the relay, and the button. That's all I've added. The red LED is on pin 2, the green LED is on pin 3, the relay is on pin 4, the button's on pin 5, and then the button's grounded here, and then the relay has positive and negative on this power rail right here. So we'll go ahead and get right into the code. Alright, congratulations if you made it this far. This is the last part in this tutorial. And as you can see, we've added some things. We've got the red and green LEDs on pin 2 and 3. Then we've got the relay on pin 4, the button on pin 5. We have 2 new variables. One of them is button count, one of them is button delay. This one is for switching the while loop, and this one is the delay after you push the button. That way you don't accidentally double press it. And then we've got our setup here. We've got the LCD initialization here, and we've commented this line out. We don't need it anymore. And then we've got the LEDs as outputs, the relay as an output, and the button as an input pull-up. This is important. Make sure you put that. And then we've digital write all the LEDs low and also the relay low, and this is just so when the Arduino powers up, they won't be on. And then down here in the loop, we have 5 main while loops. This is the first one right here. And this one is while button count equals 0. This one turns everything off. The next one is while button count is 1. And this one turns the red LED on. And then the next one is button count equals 2. And this one turns the green LED on. And then the next one is button equals 3, or button count equals 3. And this one turns just the relay on. And then finally we have button count equals 4. And this one turns everything on. So let's go back to the top and we'll start, and I'll start explaining the first one. And so the button count equals 0. That's its default state. And as you can see, we've set it to 0 up here. So it'll default to this while loop. And it'll go down here, and the first thing it'll do is clear the LCD. It'll set the cursor to 1, 0, and then it'll print everything is on the top, and then it'll go 6, 1 on the cursor. It'll set it to the bottom, that's what the 1 is, and the 6 will move it over 6 places and then print off. And then we'll turn we'll turn all of the LEDs and the relay off, and then we'll delay for 10 milliseconds. And this is for the LCD, because when this program executes, it'll get caught in this while loop, and it'll be sitting here constantly going through this while loop. And you need somewhat of a delay, otherwise your LCD will look really glitchy. And then we have the if statement. So if the button's pressed, it'll set the button count to 1, and then this condition is no longer true. So it'll move on to the next while loop, which is button count equals 1. It'll go in here, it'll clear the screen, it'll print red LED on the top, and is on the bottom. And then we'll digital write the red LED high, and the rest of them low. And I put these other ones in here just so we don't have any problems, because sometimes you'll run into problems if you don't turn the other ones off when you turn the one on. Then we have our delay again, and so if the button's pressed again, it'll set button count equal to 2, and it'll move, this condition right here won't be true anymore, so it'll move on to the next while loop, which is here, button count equals 2. And same thing, it'll clear the LCD, print green LED is on, and it'll just turn the green LED on. And then if the button's pressed again, button count 3. And this one's the relay one, so same thing, relay is on. Turn the relay high. If button's pressed, button count equals 4. And so this is the final one. And as you can see, it says everything is on, and we turn everything on, everything's written to high. And then if we press the button again, it resets back to 0, so it goes over and over and over again. So I will go ahead and write this to the board, and we will see what happens. All right, it's written to the board, and as you can see, it says everything is off. We're going to press the button once, and red LED is on. Perfect. Press it again. Green LED is on, and again, the relay is on. By the way, I turned that around so you can see the light. And we'll press it one more time. Turns everything on. Press it one more time. Everything's off. We'll loop through it one more time. Red, green, relay, everything, and off. Well, that about wraps up for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed watching, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, thanks for watching.